Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do rapid reviews on 3 knives I have in right now. Actually, let's do 4. I'll throw in another one. So let's start off with the Beyond EDC Riverwolf. This is the Terra Mundi. Apparently that's their premium line. I really hate when companies do that. Just stick with one name. Why does it have to be? Can't it be like the Beyond EDC, silver line and then be the knife? Like, why does it have to have a whole nother name and packaging and shit? I don't know. It's just confusing to me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's M390. It's a John Demko design, not Andrew. And I gotta say, guys, if you like biggins, I think this is an excellent knife. Now, it's flipper only. But let's rip through the stuff. Aesthetically, I think it's a good-looking knife. I'm not a big fan of the finger grooves, but I think it looks pretty solid overall. When it's closed, it looks pretty good. It does have a flipper tab sticking out, but hey, titanium, satin hardware, and a stonewash blade looks good to me, right? Not exactly my style, right? But it works. Ergonomics, very comfortable in hand, to be honest. Those finger grooves work for me very well. Classic Demko sort of tail here where it locks you in, which does basically make the last end of the knife useless. I guess if you have a huge hand, maybe you kind of use it as a pinky grip, but I feel like it would be uncomfortable. So they basically make the knife longer than it needs to be. You could just cut the knife off here. Now, of course, the blade, wouldn't sit in, but you could have much less handle, or much less handle and blade. I don't know. Anyway, that's just kind of a stupid thing. And then you have a choil, which is absolutely fantastic. The ergos in this choil grip are perfect. I mean, I really love it. You have a drop point / spear point blade, which works fantastically. You can get down into your sort of utility cutting that I like to do. I did use this on a couple shipping labels. It was easy enough. I mean, I did have to reach up to get to the tip, but it wasn't bad. Other than that, I mean, I cut a package open and maybe, I don't think I even cut cardboard. I just, carried it a few times. It's super heavy. I gotta, okay, so that was ergos and kind of cutting there for a little bit. You do have a flat ground, but it comes up really high, and it's not the thickest stock ever, so it comes down to a pretty thin edge. I actually really think this is a good blade on here. The M390 seems to be done well, but I'm not the expert on that, and I haven't used it enough to give that feedback, so you may want to check somebody else's review for cutting performance. So carry. This is the problem on this knife, guys. It weighs so much. I carried it one day to go pick my kid up from daycare, and it literally was pulling my pants down in my front pocket. It was so heavy. It just was uncomfortably heavy. So, I mean, I carried it like 2 or 3 times, but I struggled and did not enjoy it. So, it's heavy. It's big. It's not super thick, but it's big. So, that's, again, if you are a big knife guy, I think this one's going to work for you. One other thing I don't like is this right here. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a bottle opener or something, but I don't like when the blade kind of just has this tang sticking out here. So we did aesthetics, ergos, cutting, carry, sounds. Sounds are great. It's got a good clack, good bang out. Yes, my dogs are about to go crazy when the mailman comes up. We'll see. But yeah, for I think $350, pretty good. So in terms of the sounds, I mean, I don't know why that had anything to do with sounds. But action, guys. This is where when it came out of the box, it was rather sluggish. I could fail it real easy. And it didn't drop shut at all. And it was because they shipped it with some kind of grease in there. Literally made the detent feel weak. So I cleaned it out, used KPL, and it is fantastic. This detent actually is dialed really well for this knife. I mean, you can't fail it, right? And if you try it all, it really fires out. Feels really good. The sounds are good. It drops shut now too because of that, and that's with absolutely zero play. It's like a tank in all directions. So That's what you want from a big-ass knife like this, right? You expect it to drop shut. But if you don't want it to, put some grease in there, and you should be fine. Detent, like I said, is perfect. The flipper tab, I think, is a really good one. Now, it's a pecker, but it's got some jimping, and it catches really well, and you're not going to miss it. So it does its job really well. I think this knife would work fantastically with gloves. For sure, if you're into that. But I don't know who would use a $350-ish knife for that. This is a limited run, 200 pieces. This is number 110 of 200. Kind of see it on the blade there. Right there. So, oops. So, yeah. I like the knife overall, and I think that it's just not for me, obviously. But if this is your style, it is a good piece. It is built well. It is centered. The action's good. If you don't flick it into a table, the action is good. The blade is nice and thin. It's just a solid knife. So big shout out to Ron for sending this out to me. And the other knife he sent to me was the Lightbringer here. And I absolutely do not like this knife. You guys know why. They claim proudly built in Detroit, and that's just, it's just stupid. And I've noticed just sitting in my case the last couple of days, when I remember this being a snappy detent, and now it's like, so I don't know what exactly happened in the meantime, if it dried out or something. You can still feel the detent is stronger. Oh, that's what it is. I was never using the, I was just using the studs. I never used the flipper, I guess. It's kind of weak with the flipper. But the studs, it's snappy. So there you go. The stick is back. That stick was gone, but it's a rather stiff lock bar because that's how they're achieving the stronger detent, even though, again, on the flipper, it's not great. And that's why it's just tougher to push out of the way. It feels like it has a little bit of stick. Not the best, in my opinion, in terms of that. But anyway, aesthetically, I think it's kind of fugly. I'm not the biggest fan of super thin handles with a tall blade, if that makes sense. I kind of like knives where they're the same, you know. Like, even on our design, the Stout, you know, it's not, the blade's not much taller than the handle, right? So when it's closed, it doesn't just stick out like crazy. And I feel like on this, you get a lot of that, right? I do love the blade shape aesthetically. The handle, you know, it's a Ferrum Forge design, so it's going to kind of look like a penis every time, which is fine. You know, I like Ferrum Forge designs. I like, you know, I like penis, like my own penis, not like other penises. But that's kind of their thing. This one's not so bad. Again, not a real complaint, just a thing. Ergo's pretty comfortable. I mean, it's thin, right? So you got to keep that in mind. It's thin all around, but you can get a good grip on it, land up here, and it's comfortable. No choil. I kind of wish there was. It's sort of a flipper choil, but not. Yeah, the flipper tab reminds me of the Nessie from Urban EDC, and I have no idea why the jimping's back here. Is that what you want me to push button it? Is that the deal here? I'm supposed to do this, you know, because I'm a light switch guy. You know, it does work, though. The Nitro V Stonewash looks good. It's maybe even a bead blast. I think it's a bead blast. Yeah, you know, carry. It's got a deep carry clip. It's right hand only, which is a shame for a G10 budget knife. I guess it's not a budget knife. It's like $160 or something with G10 and Nitro V. The price is probably because they added tritium there and into the studs, which is, just one stud, which is why it's proudly built in Detroit. I know. It shouldn't bother me, but it does. This has skiffs in it that Ron put in here. He actually shaved the skiffs down to fit, and I think that's why, if you saw my disassembly, there was a bunch of phosphor bronze pieces in there, or flex, and that's just from that, and that's probably what's holding the action up right now, because when I put it back together, it was fine. So I'm guessing it just continues to shave off pieces. So yeah, he told me that after I did this assembly, so I didn't know. But Cutting, it is super thin behind the edge. It's a Civivi made knife. I don't know how well the edge will hold up. I've heard that their Nitro V and stuff it gets slippery pretty quick. I've always liked their grinds and edges, but again, I don't do a bunch of heavy use. Great tip for utility cuts. I found it fantastic for cutting through shipping labels. So as a knife, I think it does very well. Pinch grip, you can climb back here. You know, you have a lot of different grips you can use on this knife. But overall, well, do you want to hear the sounds? G10 liner lock. It's not bad. Overall, I just don't like the knife. I don't like how Glow Rhino is going about it with the Proudly Built thing. I don't like the lock stick. I don't like the handle being super thin. I don't like the righty-only carry on a sort of budget build, right? I mean, it's G10 and Nitro V. This is G10 and 14C, and you could argue those are about the same quality steel, and this is $70. This is 100 and whatever it is. So, yeah. I don't know. I just don't love this knife. And I hate the lock bar. That's the worst part of it. I hate a thin lock bar that doesn't have any jimping or an easy way to disengage it, because it ends up just taking off part of my nail here. So you can see, like, there's like a little cut into my nail that's eventually going to break off, because I have to use that to disengage it. If I go in with the fat of my finger, it just feels weird. I don't know. So I don't disengage that way, but maybe some people do. So that's the Lightbringer from Glow Rhino. Then we have the TRex. This is a Homer Zhu design. This is a custom knife. Sorry, not a design. It's a custom knife made in China by Homer Zhu. You can go on his website and you can actually buy knives that he has up there for sale. His build quality's, I gotta say, pretty good. I mean, these are like $400 or something. Full hand custom, I believe. And yeah, he does a larger model called the Parrot that I think looks cool. I did reach out to him to see if he could build me a Lefty Parrot, but see if he responds. Apparently, he numbers these beads too, which I would actually call just a rock. It's like a brick. I don't know why you would ever want that on your knife, but hey, people are crazy. This was loaned in by TX or Texas EDC, and great dude. Thank you for sending this in. He bent this clip up because he said it was too tight, and now it's just like a hook hanging off the knife. I love it. Not the best clip. I barely carried this because of that. It just felt like it was going to fall out of my pocket all the time, and I'm just not a fan of this, you know, being in my back left pocket with this brick on it, and the back spacer is kind of ugly, it sticks up, but I feel like there's a lot of potential here, you know. You have a good grind, I think. You have a good overall build quality on the knife. I mean, you can see the action. It drops, smooth shake down. I mean, it's on bearings. If you gave me a bigger knife that's thinner, I think I'd really like it. So I'm going to try to have one made that's like half the thickness and maybe double the size or something, because I do see a lot of quality here. The whole design is really good. You can get in there and flick really easily. The ergos are actually surprisingly good. I can fit my whole hand on here, large glove size hand, and then I climb up here with my thumb and boom, I can go to work. I didn't do much with this. It doesn't feel super sharp, but it did, I believe, cut paper in the unboxing, and then I think I opened a package or two with it. And then I did cut out a shipping label with it as well, because I wanted to test out this tip. It does penetrate. It's a very stubby tip, but it does penetrate, and you can get to it pretty quick, pretty low. So I've actually sort of enjoyed this knife, like not in the sense that like I want one and I love this knife, but like in the sense that I really like what this guy's doing. I like the build quality. I'd like to try something more my speed from him, if that makes sense. That's what I like about it. Cool knife. I believe these were popularized by Best Damn EDC, Taylor Martin. So anyway, that is the Homer TRex. Last but absolutely not least, let's do a quick rapid review on the Jack Wolf Knives Sharpshooter Jack. So I have these slips here made by Troy over at Northwoods Leatherworks Co. Highly recommend you go get them. I mean, look at it. It's like a Kydex fit, guys. They literally slide in and click into place. I mean, you cannot shake this out. This one is made out of Horween leather, so it's a little bit softer. So this one pops in nicely too. And then it does, if I did shake it hard enough, I think I could get it out. But like, it doesn't just fall out or anything. It's fine. It's just a softer leather, so it doesn't, you know, tight form like this one does. Or maybe it's just a little bit of a looser fit. Still fantastic. I use both. This is my favorite. It says Pueblo leather. But Troy can make you a slip for any knife, basically. He makes wallets. And, I mean, look at the fit on these. Like, it's just insane how good they are. And he can make these for, like, $35, guys, with, like, really good leather. And his cross-stitching is beautiful. So just let him know I sent you, and $35 you can get a slip or whatever. So the Jack Wolf Knives Sharpshooter Jack. I do have the new one, the laid-back Jack, on the way. So you'll probably see these again soon. And I have a third one of these, the fat carbon one, because I'm a maniac. I really, really like this knife, guys. It's just fantastic. It really is. Ben from Jack Wolf nailed it on this. The aesthetic, obviously, is just gorgeous. The gun stock pattern, the Lanny's clip, the traditional look of it. I love the finish on these bolsters being a little darker. I really like that. The contrast with the natural micarta really blew me away. I bought this one just kind of like, maybe I'd like it. I want to try it, and it's probably my favorite one. Now, the black micarta looks great as well, and so does the fat carbon, but something about the natty on this knife just looks really good to me. The ergonomics, guys, are just astounding on these. You look at it, and my initial thought was, ooh, that's not going to work, right? It's got this thing in the middle. But the way your fingers land, it just actually fits perfectly. You get a little more room back here, a little wider, and then a little thinner here where you bear down. And guys, it just works really well. The spring tension is good. I mean, you can push it down a little bit if you wanted to, but if you're cutting through something, you just got to be careful, obviously. Make sure you're not putting pressure back here when you come out of the cut. And you want to just do light duty stuff with these, right? That's kind of the point. So that's aesthetics and ergos. Carry, guys, I talked about the slips. They're fantastic. Now, the slips that come with the knife are 100% serviceable, good slips. The fact that it comes with a slip in the first place, hands down, awesome. I've never gotten a traditional slip joint with a slip, so it helps a lot. But I will say, in that slip that it comes with, it's a little thick in there, right? So getting a slip like this from Troy is a game changer. I mean, it literally disappears in my pocket now in this slip. Like, look how thin that is. It's just amazing. It went from being, like, comfortable in my front pocket but noticeable to disappearing, not even knowing I have the knife with his slip. So I got to give Troy some credit there. Northwoods Leatherworks, killing it. And believe it or not, he's only been doing leather work for like 6 months. It's crazy. All right, so that is carrot cutting. We kind of talked about it a little bit. Fantastic. I've put these through the paces a bit. I've cut some cardboard. I've cut some paper. I've cut shipping labels. I've cut open packages. I've cut a lot of tape. I've really, really enjoyed using these blades. Obviously, my biggest gripe is the blade shape. You know, I love a Warney sheep's foot low tip knife. This is going to have a clip point. It's going to come up at the tip. That said, it does other things very well, right? Not things that I normally do, though. So, you know, keep that in mind. But to get to the tip, you got to reach up a little bit. So I did try to use the belly right here a little bit to cut through shipping labels. It kind of worked, but I also tried to flip it over and use the tip like this because then it's aimed down. But neither of that worked. It didn't get through the cuts when I flipped it over because it's not sharp on the bottom of the tip, right? So you kind of had to reach up like this. So not the best shipping label knife. Now, with that said, it gets into packages easy because you just go in, it'll penetrate up here, and then you slice through, and the belly will take care of the rest. It cuts through tape like nobody's business. I did cut cardboard, and I had some that it cut like paper. It was like butter. And then I had others that it kind of just like really struggled to get through. And I don't know if I was catching down here or if I was just cutting like against the grain or something was up with the cardboard. I don't know. But I had other times I was cutting cardboard and it was just like zoop. So it's a little bit odd that was happening. Let me see if I can find something. Let's see. Okay, so we have a piece of cardboard. So it cuts that pretty easily. I don't know if that's against the grain or what, but there you go. I mean, that's really good in my opinion. But yeah, I was getting hung up like this. I don't know what I'm doing to get hung up. I think it might just be me not cutting great. If you cut through like a saw, goes through nice and easy. If you want to do like a utility cut, you just got to get up to the tip and push down and then cut through. I'm trying not to cut into my thing here, but so the best thing about this knife, in my opinion, is the hollow grind. It is a full hollow grind. So the hollow grind goes all the way up to the spine. And it's just super thin down at the edge. Just fantastic, right? And this also has a factory edge, so maybe just dropping it once would you know, make it hammer through that stuff a little bit better. I love the hollow grind. The other thing I love about the hollow grind is it makes it to where the spine is obviously wider than down here because it's a hollow. So you can so easily grab. You don't even need, where's the nail thing? I don't even know where it is. There. Like, you can grab anywhere and pull on this. Like, it's just amazing how easy it is. One thing I want to note, let's get into walk and talk. So first off, I've handled 5 of these now. The sharpshooters, they all have basically the same pull. I mean, it is crazy. The action is the same. Like, maybe this one is... Maybe like this one is a 6.5 and that's a 6, you know, but it's super close and they feel basically identical. Now, one thing I learned from Ben, Jack Wolf Knives, is he actually does 2 different pull weights. So from closed to half stop is about a 6.5, 6.5 pull. And then from half stop to open is about a 7.5 pull. And the reason for that is so when you're opening it, it's not super stiff. You know, it's not a 7.5, so it's not like stiff to get out right here, right? It's very good, guys. It's very satisfying. It's the perfect weight for that, right? But then from here to here, it's a little more, right? But you have a little bit more meat behind your pull, so it doesn't feel strong or anything. And then it means that your open position is locked up a little more. If this was a 6 instead of a 7.5, you'd be able to push this down a little easier. So it's kind of a safety feature as well. So you get that really crisp open, but you get a secure open position. I think that's really good. And it is, guys, it is so satisfying. It is actually addicting to open and close this knife. Again, guys, I was never a slip joint guy until I met Ben. And it's crazy. I just freaking love these. Now, I have other slip joints, and I enjoy the walk and talk on those. This is definitely the best that I've handled so far. It just snaps really well. You'll see when I go to close it, it'll just snap to that half stop at some point. It doesn't, like, leak up and then go, eh. And then when you close, same thing. It just takes over and snaps down at some point. And this guy's the same way. Right? And the sounds it makes, I mean, you hear it. Just so flippin' good. So, needless to say, I love these knives, and I can't wait for the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and I'll be a collector. I'm going to have so many Jack Wolves, it's not going to be funny, you know? So, absolutely fantastic knife. So, there you go, guys. That is the Jack Wolf knife, Sharpshooter Jack, the Beyond EDC, Terra, Mundi, John Demko design, Riverwolf, the Blow Rhino, Lightbringer, and the Homer Jew TRex. A little bit of all over the place there. So there you go. Rapid reviews for you. Let me know which one you like best in the comments. I got to say, out of all these, Sharpshooter Jack takes the win easy. Then I'd probably go Riverwolf, even though I'd never carry it. Then I'd go with the Homer Jew just because this specific one isn't for me. If I had the one I wanted, it might be right behind the Sharpshooter. And then you got this knife that I just don't like at all. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later.